Hey, okay, I guess we're live.
Oh, turn chat on.
I guess I should turn chat on.
That way we can see if there's
so we
people.
can see if there's people here. Oh my gosh. And there are. Hi, Cindy. Oh my goodness. Well, here I am. I'm still smiling.
Yep.
I kind of still smiled even when I got back to the resort. Oh, what happened?
That's what we're going to be talking
Yeah,
about.
we're going to talk about that. I just wanted to just give it a few minutes maybe and just make sure that we get some more people on if they're interested in joining. But yeah, I had a fall. Hola Blanca, thank you for joining. Anyway, yeah, I'm still smiling. And I was dancing. I was throwing it down from the balcony. Like, yeah.
No.
No. Hola, Carlo. Michelle, what's wrong? No, what? What? No, what?
Did Mark push you?
Oh, no, he did not. No. He wasn't even there. This is not Mark's thing. Hi, Brittany. And then, hola. Mark doesn't do these festivals. He just goes because it's a time for him to hang in the swim up bar, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, hi, hola Anna and Marcus and Rick. Hola. Thanks for joining. Okay, so we got enough people on. I guess I'll explain what happened. So I'm at a music festival, one big holiday, my morning jacket. So a 4 nights festival, and on night 2, it wasn't even a night yet. It was like the afternoon.
Yeah, I had just gotten back to the room basically from the swim up bar and was like, I'm going to take me a little nap and prepare for dinner. And
he was napping. So there was a DJ set. There's this band I like called Poolside, and the singer was doing a DJ set on the beach in the lagoon area. And we were there for that, I don't know, 90 minutes or something, and dancing and having a good time. And there were, closer to the stage, there were these rocks. Somebody kept asking if it was coral. I don't know. There were rocks sticking up out of the sand. And one of them was really sharp. And it's the same color as the sand. And I had turned around, didn't see it. I literally scraped the skin off of the bottom of my big toe. Like, I'm bleeding on the beach and I'm getting sand packed into this open wound and everything. And when I skinned my toe, I tripped. I held my hand out like this to break the fall and ended up with, I think it's called extra articular. Basically, it's a horizontal fracture of my radius right down at the distal end where it starts to widen, which ironically or not ironically is the most common type of fracture for people who stick their hands out to break their fall. And, it's amazing. I did that on a beach. It wasn't even concrete. And I broke my arm. So my really good longtime sister from another Mr. friend just happened to be there at the moment that it happened. And I have to say this, people flew to me like vultures on carrion at this resort. Like, I'm not even kidding. It wasn't even 20 seconds. And there was somebody who was either on the event staff or
the resort staff.
There's event staff, there's resort staff. And they were just right there washing off my toe, trying to wrap some stuff around that, looking at my wrist, helping me get off the beach. Like, I was in such a weird position. I would have never been able to just stand up on my own because I was so twisted. Got me into a golf cart, rolled me back to the medical building, which is on the far right side of the resort. I call Mark. He's asleep. Mark, I think I broke my wrist. Come to the medical building, building 1.
Well, now I just got done spending, I don't know, 5 hours at the swim up bar, and it was, fair amount of tequila. And then it's like, oh, building 1, boom, off I go. Get down to the last building, start walking down, see the staff, the cleaning staff's there. I said, ¿Dónde está la oficina de médico? And they're all looking at me rather strange. Like, es en edificio uno. ¿Dónde está? Es edificio 9.
He went to the other side of the resort.
The other direction.
Yeah.
But the resort staff was great. I mean, the young ladies that were there went, espero un momento, got on the phone, and they called somebody and went right down. And there was a golf cart waiting for me, and jumped right in. They took us over. The only delay we had was when the spider monkeys wanted to cross the road, and they were sort of looking at us like, what? You expect us to move quick?
Spider monkeys.
And so we get there, and they've got the doctors on, the doctor for the resort that's on stat, that's on call is there, and the event safety crew is there.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah, we need to go send her over to the hospital.
Okay. So this doctor, very, very young, he happens to also be on staff. And Dave, you're asking if this was private or public hospital. This was a private hospital. He said I could go to the public one if I wanted to, but we all know public hospitals, if you don't know, they can have very low cost, if not free care. But if you've ever passed a public hospital, you'll often notice they're very busy.
Very.
And they will have people lining up and out the door and around the corner sometimes waiting for care. And sometimes those hospitals, it's not that the staff isn't educated enough and they don't know what they're doing, but sometimes those hospitals, not only are they busy, but they don't necessarily always have the best quality equipment to work with. They do the best with what they have. And so I said, where are you on staff at? And he told us he was on staff at Hospital Joya, which I learned as I was looking them up. They are a national chain of hospitals, and there happened to be one in Playa del Carmen. It was actually the closest hospital to us.
Yeah, it was actually south of Playa Car, so it's even closer.
So this guy at the resort was on staff at this hospital. And I got to give a big shout out to Bob and Carol, safety staff.
We never found Ted and Alice.
Yeah, we never found Ted and Alice, but Bob and Carol were the safety event safety staff who got me to the medical building, and they sat with me until Mark showed up. And of course, my friend Laura hung around too, which was really great. So, kudos to Laura. So fortunately, they were going to call us a cab. No, we don't need to do that. We have our car.
Except I couldn't find the valet claim check. So they take me back up there and go to the valet and open it up. And I'm like, es mi llaves, ahí, necesito, ahora. And they're like, boleto, I don't know where it's at. Got to go to the hospital. Give me my keys. And fortunately, the young man who was driving me around in the golf cart was taking care of all of this. And he was like, let me have your passport. And he went and made a copy of my passport and had a sign on there that, yes, I lost my ticket. Here's your keys,
Right.
And so then he led me right back over to the medical office, and I don't know if I would have passed a field sobriety test at that particular time, but it was like, we got to go.
I mean, he had been drinking most of the day, guys, and he was taking a nap. When I woke him up, I think you were okay.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah, it wasn't the ideal situation.
no. And fortunately, it was only about 12 minutes or so to the hospital.
And if anybody asks, was I drunk when this happened? No. I do have a 32-ounce Bubba, and I tend to get it full, and I drink it all day. I usually don't do like a refill. So we're talking a 32-ounce drink. When we got to the medical building, they asked me if I wanted them to dump it, rinse it out, because I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to drink any more of this. There was only maybe a few sips missing from it. So no, I wasn't drunk. I was just clumsy. Let me see. Okay, so we get to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
It's already almost a little after 6.
Getting closer to 7 by about the time we got to the hospital.
All right. So our friend George that we met in Progresso has sent me a message. I was already checked in and already into the ER by the time I saw it, but he had a very good point. You can get a discount if you have your residency card. So show them your residency card when you check in. Otherwise, you'll probably get charged tourist Gringo prices. So I had already given him my residency card because I thought it would just make it easier for the registrar to get me registered into the system, because it had the most pertinent information they needed on it, and it was in their native language.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made sense to me to just give them my residency card. But it is a good tip. I didn't realize that there's a potential discount involved in doing that. And the nice thing is the doctor from the resort had already called ahead and gave them all the details about what happened. So I didn't have to try to explain all of this in my poor broken Spanish and hoping that they caught it all. It was already all explained to them, and they were just waiting on me to arrive. Okay, so they take me back. I haven't been asked to pay anything yet. And they looked at the arm quickly, and the emergency room doctor who was actually on site spoke very, very good English. And a couple of the nurses spoke not so bad English.
No, but we were able to make it all work.
But I mean, between us, we made it work between us and them. They had to scrub out my toe. That hurt. That hurt really bad. I mean,
well, before you get to that, I mean, before they even started on the toe, I had to go park the car, and then you gave them the charge card.
Not yet, because they hadn't determined yet what I needed.
No, you gave them the charge card before I got up there, because then I had to sign your name on your charge card, and then I had to put the balance on mine.
I didn't have to pay anything until they determined that I needed a CT scan. Yeah, then I paid.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how you did that, but
yeah. So anyway, I'm sitting in the emergency room bed. I did try to take some video of the emergency room to show you guys. It was just as new and up-to-date, modern as any hospital I've ever been at. And we can tell you right now, cleaner than most U.S. hospitals that we have been at.
Yeah, it was. I
was
mean,
clean.
The hospital itself, I think, is about 18 months.
It's a new hospital.
It's a fairly new hospital. It has 25 beds, and it's not huge, so it's not a large hospital. But they were on top of everything, and if they had any doubt about anything, I mean, they took her back. They did X-rays.
Mm-hmm.
And we got there, I think, right as they were making a shift change because the very first doctor that was there in the urgent care department, he left, and then the young lady came on, and she came back, and after doing the X-rays, goes, "We think we see a break, but we really can't tell, and we need to get a better view, and so they're going to do the CT scan."
Then I paid.
I must have gone downstairs or something.
You had gone outside a couple of times. Okay, but we also had other issues. Okay, so before we even get to the X-rays, they're cleaning out my toe. and it hurts like hell. Guys, I have no skin on my toe. I mean, it's gone. I have hamburger. That's pretty much what's down there. And I had sand in the hamburger and they're scrubbing it out. It hurts so freaking bad. And they finally get done with that. But while they're doing that, this guy's blood pressure dropped. And I literally watched his eyes roll back in his head, and he was down on the floor and out for about 10 seconds. Like, it didn't last long, but it was quick, sudden. He's busted out in a hot sweat. He's just dripping. And they had him sitting in a chair for about an hour with a blood pressure cuff on. No charge, by the way.
No.
They just sat him in a chair and put a cuff on him and kept an eye on him while they're trying to treat me.
Good thing there was a wall.
That's why
me.
You don't remember some of this.
That's a possibility. I mean,
yeah.
Because the only part that hurt on me was I landed on my elbows when I hit the wall, and
but he landed on my arm almost.
I didn't know where I was going.
No,
I was.
No. So yeah, they did x-rays. I came back. Then, as Mark said, they determined that they needed a better view and wanted to do the CT. Then I had to pay. So initially I paid about $2,500, and they just charged the card. Now, here's another issue. So I've got a charge card that would have covered this entire expense. But they sent me a notice, a fraud alert. And so I respond to the fraud alert and I say, it's okay. So then they said, give it a few minutes and try it again. We gave it about 5 to 10 minutes, tried it again, and the card was still rejected. So that sucks, right? I'm glad I had other options because this card would have been fine, except the charge isn't going through. What are you supposed to do? They're not going to give you care if you don't pay. So fortunately, I had another card. I paid $2,500. They do the CT scan. That was interesting because I basically had to lay face down on a table and extend my arm up above my head. And they had to twist it in ways that were kind of unnatural so that they could get the right view that they need to do the scan. Then I come back, took a while. We commented that some things never change, that it always takes a long time in the ER, to get answers, to get treatment. But what we didn't realize is that they were calling specialists in. It was off hours. So they were calling in. They called them a traumatologist. And then the traumatologist and the ER doctor determined that I needed to have the bone set. It was off like a millimeter. It wasn't broken through and it wasn't a compound. 2 millimeters?
2 millimeters.
So then they ask, do you want us to just do this? We have to manipulate it. Or do you want anesthesia? I'm sitting here going, okay, my toe hurts so bad. I'm not dealing with this too. Anesthesia.
So then they had to call in
an anesthesiologist. And I thought maybe it would be, they're going to shoot this up and numb this or something. No. I wasn't thinking about the fact it's bone, and probably the only thing that would kill the pain would be like a spinal or something.
And fortunately, the only thing she had eaten had been breakfast. So
I had a Tic Tac on my tongue. They made me spit it out.
But so it wasn't, she'd been fasting long enough that wasn't an issue.
Yeah.
So, otherwise we would have been having to sit there and wait until appropriate number of hours had passed.
8 hours.
And
no food. Yeah.
So, the anesthesiologist came in, asked all the normal questions that they always ask, when was the last time you ate? Have you had any reactions to anything, allergic to anything? The care was top notch. It was A1 care.
Yeah.
From the nurses right on to every one of the doctors, to the admitting people, even to the security guard, because we were there at 10 o'clock. They basically turn off the doors for automatic opening, and it's sort of, they don't want people coming in. And and I'm standing outside, and he's making his rounds, and he's looking at me. I can see it, and I'm standing there and I'm waving. I'm waving at the door. I'm like, oh crap, I can't get back in.
Yeah.
And
damn it, Jen.
No, he looks at me and goes,
oh.
The automatic part of the door was off, so
Manual.
I had to just put the fingers in and pull it back and go in. So, but no, they were spot on for everything that they did.
Yeah. And let me see. Okay, so they started an IV because they were going to give me basically anesthesia to put me out. What?
Her bracelets.
Oh my God, guys, come on now. Okay.
They can't do an IV on the other arm because, that's right. That's the one they're going to do.
All right, look. This one right here, the one I'm tugging on, it's got a plastic clip. I said, cut the plastic clip, and they couldn't. So they wanted to cut the bracelet off. And I'm like, no, you don't do that. That's the event bracelet. We don't cut that off. So they stuck the IV in my hand, which I knew they could. I've got great veins. I mean, I can stick myself in my hand. So that worked out okay. So they got the IV started in my hand. They knocked me out to do the bone reset. I mean, like they rolled me into a little mini operating room, procedure room type thing. And I was able to get on the table. They knocked me out. When I woke up, they were smoothing all this down with water, I guess. I don't know what. And then back out and back into the emergency room. And
you were giggling like a schoolgirl.
I mean,
no, I'm just saying that everybody who comes out of anesthesia comes out different ways, and they were laughing at you when they came to tell me, 5 minutos más es muy feliz. You know
what? Like I said, like people told me this at the festival too, that they couldn't believe what a trooper I was. Look, guys, life throws you freaking curveballs. You can choose your reaction to those curveballs. I'm there to have a good time. I'm there with friends I haven't seen a long time. And I'm there to listen to a band that I love. And I'm having a good time. I've got a primo view of the stage. I've got a place to sit and be comfortable. So I can do this. And, and Bob and Carol safety people, they saw me throwing down my cast, and they told my friend, tell me to stop it and knock it off. I got to take better care of it. But I was having a good time. Nobody was going to ruin my good time. Not even this.
No.
I'm just sad I missed the entirety of night 2 because they did some.
Though I did have to tell you to calm down on day 3 because, one of the aftercare was, they were like,
don't drink.
Do you drink? She's like, no alcohol.
Yeah, I had some alcohol.
No smoking. She went,
I don't smoke.
No problem. No illicit drugs.
No drugs.
So then it was and she is very noticeable when she gets tipsy, and she's over there going, hey baby, and I'm like, stop drinking.
He's yelling at me,
and she's like, aw. I'm like, it's what you would be telling me if it was reversed. You'd be going, the doctors told you not to drink. So I'm just repeating.
I only had a few that day.
It only takes a few for you.
They were spread out.
Horse shit. But
I drank a lot of water. Just saying.
No, but the whole thing from the resort's reaction to the event's reaction to the interaction with the hospital itself, everything was as good as it could possibly be. I mean, given what we were having to deal with. So we can't, fault the thing. When she finally got back in there, one of the things we were worried about was, okay, we need an exact, printout of everything so that, we need to know what the diagnostic codes were for the treatment, for the injury.
So they gave us like this booklet of like 6 or 7 pages, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each page it's all broken down. Like the first page is the urgent care at the top. And then there is the nursing care. And I didn't look this word up, so I don't know what it is.
What word?
Carofano. I can't read it either because I'm blind. Carofano? I don't know. That's got a section of its own. Radiology has a section of its own.
Anesthesiology has a section of its own.
I mean, like the specialist, maybe that's what that was, is Carofano. Servicios, medicos. So each of the doctors that were consulted are on here. And at the end, total of the bill was 82,130 pesos.
So, they left whatever hold they had on her one card, and then I just gave them a different card
for the rest.
And went, here's put the balance on this, and
they gave me a prescription written in English.
Mm-hmm.
They provided me with tramadol with acetaminophen, some other drug that's some kind of NSAID, gook to stick on my hamburger toe.
That they actually forgot to give us, and the nurse came running out of the hospital as we were driving out and was like, un momento. So she gave us that, and the nice part was it was 1:30 in the morning when the doctor's writing the scripts, and she's like, do you want us to fill them here, or do you want to go to a farmacia? I'm like, oh no, we're filling them here. No, I'm not wanting to drive around PDC, at 2 o'clock in the morning looking for a similares.
This is the X-ray report, and they stuck it in this nice folder for the next doctor to look at, and gave me the films.
Yep.
And then this is
the
CT scan report with a disc over here. And of course, it's all in Spanish, which is fine because we told them that we're going to be in Chiapas for the next 2 months. And so we're going to have to get care, follow-up care in 4 weeks and 8 weeks to look at this.
Unfortunately, San Cristobal de las Casas and Tuxtla are not that far apart that we find one doctor in Tuxtla to do the 4-week, check on it. We will just book, we'll go, we'll drive back. You tell us the day, the time, and we'll be here, to get that puppy off.
Yeah. And so, there you go. Hey, so I mean, if you guys have some specific questions about the facility or questions about the care in general, I could say that most of the doctors spoke very good English. One of them was a little less than the others, but still really pretty good. The nurses spoke half decent English, and we spoke some half decent Spanish, so we were able to communicate fairly well. It's not going to be like this everywhere we go because Playa is in a very touristy location. So it's probably very common for English to be spoken by visitors there. But we were able to make it work, and Google Translate was pretty good to use sometimes. And whenever I had to go back to get the x-rays, he didn't speak English. So one of the nurses would come with me and would translate whenever possible, which was really appreciated. And I have to say this, look at all those signatures. Yes, I've got friends I left the whole section on the bottom open for maybe band. I tried to get the band assigned, but that ended up not happening. But yeah, I mean, we even had people at the restaurant, the staff, the safety people who helped me sign it, and my friends. So I've never had a cast before. This is my first cast ever. Oh my. And it's not so bad yet, except that I had to put some padding behind my thumb down here because my hand is swelling up even though I'm doing this a lot. But this thumb doesn't have a whole lot of movement, and it's rubbing against something. So needed some cushion there. Yes, it is good to know about the residency card. I was not really aware of it. I honestly just gave it to them because I thought it would make it easier for them to register me as a patient.
And it doesn't list anywhere on there, but we
No.
also don't know if there's two-tier pricing. You know, I mean,
Yeah, we don't know.
we have no clue as to that. But
So I mean, and we don't know if they honor if they even had two-tier pricing. It was just once I was inside, one of our other viewers recommended that and said that there is a difference in pricing sometimes. And there's also been times where people have reported being taken advantage of in certain tourist locations by the hospitals.
I mean,
So
it ended up being a little over $5,500.
Yeah.
And when we started going, okay, hold on, you know, that's really not out of this world considering, you know, if you think about what would have happened in the US, you know, you'd had to pay the radiologist just to look at the
after the fact,
you know, just to
Yeah.
look at the scans. You'd had the ER visit that would have cost this.
separate fee for the ER doctor.
Separate fee for the ER doctor. You know, then as far as 2 sets of X-rays, that would have been, you know,
And the CT.
and the CT.
3 interpretations.
3 different interpretations. Then you had the anesthesiologist, which would have been, you know, correct. Radiologist and anesthesiologist would have run $1,000 plus for each one of those minimum. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think we would have spent 6 times as much.
Yeah,
Easily in the United States. You know, even with insurance, we probably would have had just as much of a payment, even with insurance, due to copays and premiums and, you know,
And
deductibles and yeah.
And then we paid, you know, the for the pharmacy and everything else. So
Yeah, those drugs cost us less than $5 total.
That's at the hospital.
At the hospital. Yeah.
You know.
So let me see here. Does that also, wonder if that also works for doctor appointments? I don't know. And that's a good question.
That's a good question for the doctor's office.
You know, I've gotten into the habit. Anytime I go anywhere here and they want to see ID, I give them my residency card.
Oh, yeah.
They don't really care about my U.S. driver's license. So,
Nope.
You know, I give them a residency card.
Yep.
Because what we have found is if you go to tourist locations, you get a discount just being a resident.
And if you're an old fart, then you really get
a discount.
I mean, now you're a resident and an old fart.
I do it every time somebody wants to see ID, or if I'm going to get admission to something, I just give them my residency card.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just a good idea to do that.
And if you get in the habit of doing that, because the other thing you got to do is, I mean, anytime you fly, when you return to the country, you know, I don't give them my passport till residency card's in their hand, so that you know they go, oh, you're a resident, because I don't want the ka-chunk and get the stamp.
The bank that rejected was Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
We have Ally, Capital One, Mission, and Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
Mercury rejected the charge. And it's so stupid because I had the app open. I knew what my available credit was because I have nothing on the card. And I got the text message.
Mm-hmm.
Fraud alert. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
They see some charge coming out of Mexico for thousands of dollars. That's all cool. But I cleared it. I said it was valid. And they said, wait a few minutes and try again. And it still would not go through. And I never got another message after that. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this. I need to get care.
Mm-hmm.
Different card. I can fight with Mercury Bank about it later. I don't know what to do about that. It happens sometimes. They just do that. Sometimes our
Well,
our
and
Starlink won't go through
right.
because of certain cards. I mean,
And yours went through, the one we primarily used down here, the Capital One, went through with no issues. And then when I went to go pay the final bill, mine went through different bank, and that went through with no problem. So I don't know if Mercury was having an issue.
right.
Who knows? And who knows when they say a couple of minutes,
Oh, operating room. Gracias, Andy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the operating room where they knocked me out and wrapped up my arm.
Yep.
Well, fixed my arm first. I didn't get to feel that. Thank goodness.
Yeah, I would have heard the scream.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Hey, tenant, buyer home services. Okay. That's USD. We spent $5,500 US.
A little under
It was
83,000 pesos.
Just under 83,000 pesos for treatment. Okay, so I've had x-rays and ultrasound at our house for 1,000 to 2,000 pesos. Well, I believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I do. But I did have multiple x-rays and a CT scan and an operating room, anesthesia. I mean, I had a bunch of stuff going on. So
yeah, I mean, we haven't really broke down the line by line to know exactly what we ended up paying exactly for those scans and everything else. But I think the majority of it was probably going to be for what they did with her in the operating room, the anesthesiologist, and that was probably the bulk. But
the total for all the x-rays and the CT scan was 19,000 pesos.
That's 3 x-rays and 2 x-rays and a CT.
Four x-rays.
Oh, okay.
Because they did so 4 x-rays and a CT.
Mm-hmm. So no, it was was it cheap? No.
Was it cheaper?
I would say yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to have to go home and break an arm to find out how much cheaper it was, but that's what it ended up being. But the care, it was just typical of what we've encountered anytime we've had to do anything with the people here in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
They were warm, they were on top of everything, wanted to make everybody, that make us comfortable. The only thing that wasn't comfortable in there is it's like every other emergency room in the world. It was freezing.
He was very cold.
Well, I didn't realize that I was dressing for.
I was okay, but he was cold.
I'm going down the car scrounging, and I happen to find my hoodie down there, and a warm Coca-Cola, and was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, but it's funny because I was looking at the equipment around the emergency room, and I recognized a lot of the names. I can't remember them right now, but I recognize them. Why? Because it's the same damn equipment I've seen in U.S. emergency rooms. So, I mean, even the blood pressure cuff, everything on the cuff was written in English.
Well, and the beds were from the United States.
They were.
They
were.
But
it was top care.
Yes, it was. I mean, they were spot on everything. And, even, they even didn't pay any attention to her for that brief period of time when.
Because he went down.
I went down. So
I was like, oh no, we got 2 bills.
Yeah, two for the price of 1.
So US Bank Visa gets rejected every time I use Amazon. Yeah. Jenny, I don't know. It's just kind of weird how that
There's
happens.
Some weird things going with Amazon because being here in Mexico, I get all my Kindle books, I check them out through Amazon because I get them for free. And if I don't turn my VPN off, Amazon just sits there and goes, no, you aren't getting this book, and won't even load. So I have to pause the VPN, load the Amazon, get the book, and then turn my VPN back on. So
Oh, Suzanne, it didn't affect my fun too much, except that if I had to admit it, based on the set list, the night that I missed probably would have been my favorite night. But what you gonna do? You know, I'll they'll have it up for me to download and I'll get to listen to it. They did some covers that I missed. One of the covers they did was West End Girls by Pet Shop Boys. I'm like, seriously? I missed this. But it is what it is. We came back, we got back underway. I knew when I was watching the clock, I'm like, okay, the opening band is on now. Okay, the main band is on now. Okay, the night is over. I just knew as the time was going. What are you going to do? Just have to roll with it. That's it. Hey, Ernie. Oh, hi. Yes. And you know what? We knew we were going to get good care. We knew. And that's one of the reasons why I said I wanted to go to a private hospital. I did have my choice. I could have gone public or private. Even the doctor at the resort was like, if you go to the public one, you may have a really long wait. And I'm like, you don't have to tell me.
Yeah.
I've seen the line. I've seen the lines coming out of the public hospitals. I said, no, I'll go to a private one. I've got insurance. I'll get reimbursed, whatever.
And she actually did file it today. And so we'll see how that works.
Oh, yeah. And what I paid for a CT. Yeah. CT in the state. Yes. I think so too. I think in total for the whole emergency room visit, supplies and everything else, the operating, the cast, all of it probably would have ran us a minimum of $30,000 in the United States. That's my best guess, but I think that's what it would have been.
Somewhere in the ballpark. But it would have been north, I think, of what we ended up paying.
And the thing is in the United States, the bills just keep trickling in. You think you're done, and then here comes another bill. Two weeks later, a month later, here's another bill. It's like, why can't you just bill me for everything now?
Well, and the nice part about this also is when we were checking out, we explained that we have Nomad insurance through Safety Wing, and they were like, look, if there's any questions about anything, email us and we will email you back whatever if they're missing a piece or something, we will be more, it's on file and we'll be glad to send it to whoever needs it to see it. So
they were really nice. You know what? And they were fun.
Yes.
And they were smiling and laughing with me. And I don't know. I think I don't know if they're just not used to people being so positive. I don't know. I was like, I get to go back to the resort. Whoop, whoop. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. They were a lot of fun and they were very nice. And the place was so clean. It smelled clean. It looked clean. The waiting room was clean. The bathroom was spotless. The beds were clean. The equipment was new. Just everything was it's exactly what you expect to see in a hospital, what your expectations should be. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, it hit all the marks.
Yes. Oh, what's this? Oh, hola, Benito. I get the credit card thing all the time. I'm lucky, though, that they unfreeze the card pretty quick, but I always have an extra card handy. Yeah, and that's what we had to do. I wish I could have stuck the whole thing on one card, but it was not meant to be. So
at that point, it was like, what do you need? Let's just make this all. But the one thing that it does show is that you are going to need to have that type of available funds, be it on a credit card, be it on a debit, whatever. But you're going to need that, that amount because we didn't have it. She wouldn't have gotten treated. So,
yeah. And that's the truth of it. I don't think we could possibly stress enough to you in our community or anyone who watches this in the future, how important it is that you need to have a nest egg of money. You need to have it. Whether it means that you pay yourself every month into a separate little rainy day fund or whatever, you're going to need a nest egg of money. You don't know when you're going to have to use it, but you are going to have to use it.
But you're also going to have it in a manner that you're going to be able to access it and give it to the hospital, because it's not like you're going to be able to go to the ATM and go, I need 80,000 pesos. I mean, that's not going to happen.
Right.
So you're going to have it in some type of
unless
form.
Now, we don't have experience yet with insurance plans from within Mexico, or we don't have a bank account in Mexico. So we don't know how that might work for payment if you have those resources available. We only know that we have our credit cards and we have insurance that we have to file for reimbursement.
Right.
It's not insurance that the hospital is going to work with directly.
Yeah. And part of the difference in the cost is the fact that they're getting paid. Boom. There is no claims department that is having to get funded so that they can chase down the money from the insurance company.
Right.
And then have we're only going to cover this and this and this. And then they have to go back and forth. No, they got their money. Now it's between you and the insurance company. So, that part of it, you think about it, that whole claims department, that's a big part of hospitals.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of people and a lot of paperwork and a lot of red tape that everybody has to go through. So this helps keep the costs down just by boom.
I mean, we don't really know how claims work in Mexico. We just know that
there really aren't many. You pay and then you get reimbursed.
Yeah.
So
I guess that's how that all works.
Yeah.
See, let me go down to here real quick. You thought you broke your ankle and had x-ray, 700 pesos, saw a specialist, 2,400, went to PT 3 times a week for a month, 400. All the care was excellent. Oh, very good, Marcus. That's good to know. I guess, I'm just guessing that basically the CT in the operating room probably really is what pushed this up. I'm assuming.
I'm thinking that a lot of it is going to be that the whole anesthesia and then the operating expenses and everything else, instead of we just need to slap a cast on it because it's back in its normal place. We just need to make sure that it stays there.
Yeah.
No, they had to return it to its
it had to be
upright and seated position.
It had to be manipulated. Shouldn't have an issue with insurance. I file claims all the time here through reimbursement, and my insurance pays, no questions asked. I really hope so, Ernie, because we've been getting the Safety Wing Nomad insurance. This will be the second year we've had it. We've never filed a claim with them. So doing the claim today was interesting. And so I could talk about that a little bit too. If any of you are thinking about a plan like that, basically I could download their mobile app. I could do it from the phone, which was a whole lot easier for me to do than try to do it from the computer, because I had taken pictures of all of the paperwork and I have Adobe on my phone, and I was able to create a PDF of all those images. But I just had to basically complete the form. They did it through DocuSign, if any of you've ever used that. And so I completed the form. I uploaded a PDF of that, all the pages of that bill. And I also just went ahead and added images of the prescription I had and the 2 radiologic reports and the receipts that we had from the charge cards when they ran them through for BBVA. And I signed it, and they will then take that DocuSign form and submit it to Safety Wing. And then when they sign it, I get an email back that it's been signed. And I guess if there's no questions, it'll just go through the process. They said it could take up to a month or so.
Yeah. Something around 45 days. And, and there is a $250 deductible that, since we have never used it, we know, okay, that's $250 coming off the top right there. But, okay, if you're going to send me $5,300, I'll pay the $250. So
insurance companies here in Mexico cover claims by condition. You usually have a deductible per condition. If you have not met deductible, then you pay nothing. Oh, if you have met the deductible, then you pay nothing at the hospital. Okay. So we don't have that kind of insurance yet. It's something we need to look into eventually here. Of course, I've been saying that for how long?
Well, and the hard part is constantly on the go has not made it conducive.
Yeah, it's been difficult to just settle down and just do that. Benito, you were in the hospital for 3 weeks and went to a general hospital in Leon. 4 surgeries, x-rays, labs. We paid $1,200 USD. Wow, that is really good. That is really good. So the general hospital, is that a public hospital or a private one?
I'm going to say that's going to be the public probably.
I'd like to know, because that's like excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah, and I think that part of it also is this is going to be a little bit inflated because of location.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
it's in Playa del Carmen. You know,
that's what it is, and it's in Riviera Maya, so everything is going to have a little bit more of a boom.
And there you go, Linda. You see exactly. You're in a very expensive area. Everything is higher, including medical care. Yeah.
I mean, when it cost me 700 pesos to get this dome cut, yeah.
Yeah, probably. Oh, Wilfredo, you did all that claim with just one hand. Okay, look. So I have a phone with a strap. I can take pictures like this, and I can manipulate those pictures, and I can occasionally do this. So yeah, it's pecking. I'm pecking like a chicken, all the letters and stuff. It took time. Probably took me 3 or 4 times longer than it should have.
Probably.
But I did spend a good part of the morning pulling all that together. Because, I mean, that's a big chunk of change that we'd like to get back as soon as we can, after all, right? Here we go. Whoops. It was a public hospital. Hold on.
Yep.
Okay. So it was a public hospital. Now, again, I had an option of going to a public hospital, and I turned it down only because I'm in the middle of a festival that I paid a lot of money to be at. And I wanted to get back to the festival and not miss out on all this stuff. I missed an entire evening.
And it was a Friday night.
And I did not want to be in the lines and waiting. And you know what? I'm sure that my care would have been good. It's always kind of like a roll with the dice. Like I said, I don't believe that the doctors aren't any better or worse. Sometimes it's just a matter of the waits being really, really long. And sometimes those facilities may not have the resources available to them that the private hospital might have.
Correct.
So it's not that I didn't trust the doctors. It was more a matter of convenience. I wanted in and I wanted out. And I'm like, where's the closest hospital and which one are you affiliated with? And he told us and we were gone.
Well, yeah. And I had an ulterior motive. I'm sitting here going, there's normally a lot of cop cars around the public hospitals. And
that's true.
And I had been.
He had been drinking earlier in the day, and there's like zero tolerance.
So it was, let's go someplace where it's going to be pretty quiet. Just, I mean, granted, 2 o'clock in the morning, by the time we got out, it had been 12 hours, but,
Oh, Tom. No swimming in anything. I can't get my toe wet. I can't get my arm wet. So I pretty much spent the rest of my time sitting in the shade and just listening to music and drinking a little. And there's nothing wrong with that. I enjoyed the show. I enjoyed my friends. So so while I did miss out.
And I have to say that the people there at the resort, not only the staff of the resort and the staff of the event staff, but the attendees were phenomenal as far as, can I get you something? Can I do this? Can I do that? I mean, it was a very caring group of people.
I mean, yeah, like our roommates. Our roommates keep they were still amazed at how positive I remained. And they said I was a trooper and they were so impressed. And I'm like, well, what? I'm on good pain meds. I'm not really hurting that bad. I'm majorly inconvenienced, but it is what it is and I can't change it. I'm going to sit here and enjoy the reason I'm here. And the reason I'm here is to hang with friends and listen to music and eat.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, why ruin that? So here, yes, Bruno, if you hadn't heard, I mean, we were in Playa Car and we went to a mall and he paid with tip less than 100 pesos. We come to Tulum and he pays 700 pesos for a haircut. And if he had known that it was going to cost that much, he wouldn't have even gotten the haircut. That's what he got charged leaving.
No, because she had two good hands. She could have done it then.
I could have done his haircut.
Yeah, that was one of those. It's just like, yeah, that gives you an idea of what the
Tulum is crazy, guys. Tulum is nuts. Everything here is overpriced. So sorry, but it's true. So let's see here. They had to charge me because I didn't have a CURP. And it's based on income or status. See, and we do have that. I have it on my phone. They did not ask me for that, but I had the resident card. So, yeah, it may have been much less. And so I probably would have paid a lot less going to the public hospital. But again, I didn't want to take a chance that I was going to be there for 24 hours and miss even more of what I was already missing. So, Mark. Mark was at the swim up bar, but he had gone back to the room to take a nap when this happened to me.
Well, and I had gotten fed up with the swim up bar. That was, that I will give the Hard Rock credit. Their smoking policy there, as far as me having a cigar, is a lot more tolerant than Excellence was. I mean, I had numerous people that work for the resort who say, afuera es bueno. Okay. Outside, you're good. And was at the bar, swim up bar, and brought my own ashtray and had one. And then they said, please don't smoke. No problem. I put it out. And then somebody came over and says, you need an ashtray to smoke. I went, got one right here. Oh, as long as the staff's not right here in your face, and I can lay it up, take a few puffs, put it right back down. Life is good. Yeah. So I did that. Then two more people came over and were like, you can't smoke here. Look.
Just make up your mind.
Make up your mind. Whatever the policy is, you guys tell me and I will, adhere to it. And so, the rest of that day, I was going over the little smoking section that they had, which basically means you step out of the pool. Because, people were smoking on the side of the pool.
Oh, there were people smoking everywhere, guys.
And we're not talking just about smoking cigarettes,
everywhere.
Smoking cigars. They were smoking pot. It was like, okay.
If I could tell you how many joints got passed to me.
And so, it's like, whatever. But so
yeah,
I'd had enough. And it was like, you know what? I'm going to the room. And it just sort of gotten down, laid down, opened up the latest James Patterson. And then my phone rings. And I'm like,
yeah. He was drowsy. I mean, he must have been drifting, but it didn't take him long to realize what I said.
No.
And he was on his way.
That was a sobering moment, to say the least.
Yeah, I said, Mark, I think I broke my wrist. Ay. They probably would have sent you to a private hospital anyway, just for the CT scan alone. You know what, Chris? I think you're right. And then I would have had 2 hospitals I would have had to pay for. So, yeah. So I agree. Do I like spending $5,500 US on medical care like this at the last minute? No, not at all. But it's still less than what I would have spent in the United States in the end. And I got good care. Mm-hmm. So, good care is good care. How about the $8,000 we had to pay for him one time for a kidney stone in Asheville, North Carolina, We sat there for 8 hours and he never got treatment and we still got a bill. I mean, they literally just sent him home because he wasn't hurting anymore. He sat through it.
And then they did triage out in.
Well,
I
I mean, the whole point is that we got charged more money for us sitting in an emergency room for 8 hours and he got 0 treatment.
And then we had to deal with all the loonies that were also in
drug withdrawals, rolling on the floor, and just all the mess. So yeah, this is one of the best experiences I ever had in a hospital. Yes, stay away from Tulum. I hate to say it. The couple that we roomed with got married in Tulum. They won't even come back here. It's changed so much, and it's not for the better. It's not for the better price-wise, environmentally. It's not for the better. Tulum is worse off than it was, and it's unfortunate. And we were asked if we were going to go to Bacalar, and I really wanted to, but now with all this and the fact that we're going to have to be taken longer to pack up now, we're not going to make it to Bacalar. It's just not going to happen. And I honestly feel that Bacalar is the new Tulum, and how long will it take before it's ruined as well? Don't know.
Well, we're going to spend the next 3 days packing.
We got to spend 3 days packing. Yeah. Used to work for TRICARE military. I know it well. And I'm familiar with Mexican billing and getting the government to reimburse. Excellent. Excellent. And yes, Linda, I would go to private too, even if I had to use a credit card. Growing up in Eagle Pass, Texas, with no insurance, my parents always took us to private care. It was excellent in Piedras Negras, Mexico. Very good. I'm glad to hear it. Hey, Tom. Shame you don't have your LP collection with you now in Mexico. You could have a marathon plus of fantastic music. I know. And I didn't know about using my CURP at the hospital and clinic. Thanks for the info. Yes, thank you to, gosh, who just told us that? Benito. Yes, thank you. It's good to know. And yes, U.S. healthcare is BS. It really is. It really is. You think about it. I mean, we were paying over $500 a month. We had a really high deductible. I can't remember what it is right now, but I know it was like more than $3,000. It was something stupid. And then
it was what, 80-20?
Then it was 80-20 copays. And that was like the best they could do. And I worked for a medical system, and that was the best they could do. So
no, it's not the best they could do. It's the most they can figure out how to get out of you that you're willing to pay. I mean, the whole thing's about money, and it's money. How can we get it out of you as the insuree? And and how do we get it out of the insurance companies? And now the insurance companies and big pharma and all are one big happy family.
Yeah,
it's all just
I'm glad that Mexico has an option of private or public, because there's always going to be people who need the public, and it should be available to them, and they should have the ability to get care that doesn't break the bank. Absolutely. I firmly believe in it. And I believe that if I'm able to afford private care, I should use private care. And I did. And I feel very good about the care I got. And I honestly believe it was the best care I have probably ever had at any hospital emergency like that, ever. I can't tell you how many times and how many cities in my life I've gone to an emergency room and it was packed. You waited for hours. You had to go through all the different stations. You had to get the triage. First you check in, then you have to get the triage. And then, of course, as they should, they triage you based on immediate need. So if somebody came in after you that is in more immediate need, you're going to wait while they get seen, as it should be. But I mean, there's been times where I remember one time you were in the hospital in Matthews, North Carolina, for a kidney stone. They had given him medication to help us, ease the pain until we could get his prescription filled. But they took so damn long to discharge him that it started wearing off.
It took 3 hours.
3
hours. And so the pain med wore off. So then they had to give me another one, which meant they had to adjust the bill, which mean we had to wait again.
Yeah.
And it was just like, and finally I just said, leave me here, take the script, walk across the street, because there was a pharmacy right across CVS or
something,
Walgreens, whatever. And she was like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah, otherwise we're going to play this game.
Yeah.
And we'll never leave, you know, and
yeah.
Oh God.
Packing. Yeah. So look, I mean, I can't lift anything with this hand. And we have got things here that takes the two of us to move. Like my computer stuff, for example. I can use this hand. But part of the problem now I'm having is that, you know, the whole skinning of the toe and the weight of this cast is thrown my balance off, and it's like causing some back issues too. So I'm trying to be really good about how I move and the mechanics of my body. What, honey?
I'll be doing it all. And that's why literally starting tomorrow, I will be starting to fill. And then of course, this one is the one that we have all the steps just to get things to the car, which is why I'm going to spend the next 3 days getting the car ready so that, you know, hopefully come Saturday, all we have to do is throw the suitcases in the back, do the roof bag, and get to Merida.
But it's going to be like this for the next 2 moves. Because
I
can't get this off until 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that 8 weeks, I still may not be able to lift anything heavy with it. You know, I may, you know, look, as you get older, your body heals more slowly. So we'll see. We won't know. We'll see whenever we see the doctor in Tuxtla. But anyway, I mean, I can still carry things down, little bags and stuff over my shoulder. But yeah, this is going to suck so bad. It's going to take 3 times longer to move. And he's going to have to do all the heavy lifting.
It'll take a lot longer than that because I'm going to tire out faster because it's just
a nightmare. It's a nightmare.
Yeah,
it is. And okay, and then video editing. It's hard. It's hard because I'm trying to learn how to use a mouse with the left hand. Fortunately for me, I was actually born left-handed. And I have a little of that residual ambidexterity. My dad forced me when I was really, really, really little to use my right hand. My mom was left-handed. My firstborn daughter is left-handed. I was left-handed, but I do most things with my right hand now. There are still some things I can do with my left hand really well. Like I can throw darts. I throw darts better with my left hand than my right. Things like that. The mouse is not too terrible, but typing is, forget it. I'm like picking. I'm picking things, you know, anything that requires 2 hands, opening a container, trying to cook on the stove, things like that have been a nightmare. Trying to get dressed, going to the bathroom, trying to take a shower. I mean, this stuff is just not easy. Trying to do my hair. I actually did my makeup left-handed today, so there goes that ambidexterity. I did all right. I did eyeliner and everything. I know that's important to all you men out there. The eyeliner, but I did it. But it takes longer. I don't know how I'm going to do video edits. I was in the middle. I was about to release a video on Sunday, and this happened Friday night. And I'm like, what the hell now? What am I going to do? I don't know. I'm working on it.
It's not gonna come out before we get to Tuxtla. I mean, that's just because the next 3 days are gonna be busy, and
I wanted to do this live a week earlier than we planned because I don't know when the next normal video is going to come out because it's going to take me longer to do them. Well,
and the other part of it is we weren't sure what we were going to encounter internet-wise in Tuxtla. That's could be great, couldn't be not so good. I may have to Spider-Man my way up to the roof and put the Starlink back up, which we haven't used in 3 months.
So safety wing. All right. So Nomad Insurance. The plan that I have, they do base it on your age. Mark's part costs a little bit more than my part, but us combined is $273 a month.
Mm-hmm.
There is a $250 deductible
Mm-hmm.
per certificate, which for us is we do it on a year. So we have a certificate for a year before we have to renew and get a new certificate. So $250 deductible for the year. I want to say that the lifetime payout is 250,000, I think.
I thought it was higher than that.
I'm looking. It's on the
thought,
app.
I thought it was like a mil or two.
No, I don't think it's that high.
Okay.
No, I think you're overshooting. But okay, let me see. Coverage, insurance, info, no. Profile, no. Insurance, my coverage. Okay. Tell me what it is.
Policy details.
Where does it say that?
I don't know.
I thought you saw something.
No, I'm, but I'm thinking that would probably be.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to find it.
But
you keep talking.
For $273 a month, that's a lot less than what we were paying per pay. Not per month, per pay in the U.S. So we will see how that whole thing.
Yeah, I can't. Maybe it's not on here. I want to say that the lifetime payout is 250,000.
There is a
something
link
like that
on our page with all the videos. Nomad or Safety Wing.
Yeah, it's Safety Wing Nomad Insurance. But yeah, it's different. The rate is different based on your age, and I didn't realize this, that we get a little bit of a discount because we're on the same policy together. So they do knock a little bit off. I didn't realize they did that. But it's $273 a month for us. And when we renewed our certificate for the new year, I thought it was going to go up because we're older. But I believe that the age, I think the ages are in brackets. And neither one of us had gone out of the bracket yet. So it renewed at the same rate. And yeah, so this is my first time putting the claim in. That could be some good content too, where I get to explain how that went. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we got some good content. I mean, yeah, we'll do a video about this.
Yeah.
The other thing that we can say is that yes, the filing of the taxes went as expected, and that came back with no problems whatsoever.
Well,
all right, hold on.
I asked for them to do direct deposit, and they mailed a check.
And of course,
instead.
they mail a check to South Dakota.
Right.
But we got the money. That's the, there was never any, oh yeah, you guys got to do this, are you sure this, that, and everything else? No, it was pretty much a little bit delayed, but.
Okay, I got the details. We have a $250 deductible. The maximum limit is $250,000. That is for travel, medical. There is also emergency evac. Home country coverage is available, but it does cost extra. We do not have home country coverage. We just have everything except home country. Home country being the United States. There is some coverage for sports and activities, but there are limits. Same with driving. There is some coverage, but there are limits. I think it depends on if there's an accident. You have to have a police accident report and things like that. But you can't have been doing anything like racing a car, for example.
Right.
They also include, as part of the traveler's plan, lost checked baggage, travel delays, trip interruption. There is also some coverage for emergency dental treatment and repatriation of remains should a death occur. So that is what is included. And so this is the first time that we're cashing in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. Let's see. Speaking of dental, I just had an extraction with a bone graft and paid $1,100, and the insurance paid $150. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Trust me, we know the pain of literal and pocketbook wise.
Dental always seems, for those major restorative type things, always only pays about half. And then when it comes to things like the bone grafts and stuff like that.
Then the office that I was going to, a periodontist in Asheville, the periodontist himself, he was great. Their office couldn't figure out how to bill anything. And it was always, oh, we overcharged you. Oh, you need to pay us this. Oh,
no, his office was awful.
Just like,
his
oh
office
my
was awful.
God.
Awful.
You know, it's like, hold on, get the same service every 4 months.
See, okay, so left-handed, and they forced me to write right-handed. Nuns. I didn't have to go to a Catholic school, but I came from an Italian-American family, so maybe that's where that originated. But that all came from my dad. Yeah, I had to write with my right hand. And so, I mean, I guess I'm fortunate in some ways that I have that residual ambidexterity, although it's not great. I can theoretically write with my left hand. It's not pretty, but I can do it. We do not have anyone around to help us move out.
It's going to get done.
It'll get done. It's just going to be painful. It'll be painful.
Trust. Saturday night, we get to Auto Moteles in Merida.
Yeah.
I will get a couple of cervezas, a couple of alitas, well, maybe half a dozen, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I will be out.
And the thing is with the move and everything like that, I mean, he already had planned to spread it out over 3 days. Anyway, just because we knew the first day was going to be a rough pack, and we just wanted a short drive, and then we were going to have longer drives the next 2 days. So, yeah, I guess it's going to really, I'm really grateful right now that the first day is going to be a short drive. He's going to need it. He's going to need it way more than I'm going to need it. I just feel so guilty right now for laying all this at his feet, you know. I'm
going to pretend to read a Kindle for about 3 minutes, and then it'll probably be.
Does Safety Wing have an age limit? Let me look real quick. I'm looking because I think it's like an age and over. Like a certain age and over.
FAQ probably.
Yeah. What do you think there, baby?
I'm trying to see.
Age limit. No, I'm not going to find it that way. Oh, no, it helps if I spell right.
Well, it's not going to be stage limit either.
All right. For premiums increase with age, price calculator. Let me look at the price calculator real quick and I can let you know. Check pricing. All right. These are the options. Let me see what the maximum window is that they allow. 69. 65 to 69. That's the highest window they offer. So I guess there is an age limit. So yeah. And let's see. Tom, when the time comes down the road, are you guys going to sign up for U.S. Medicare? And if so, how do you do it in Mexico?
The game.
We are going to move. We're going to domicile to Texas, I believe.
Well,
at that point,
the game plan. Again, the game plan is to. The 4 years ends just before I'm going to have to sign up for Medicare. So we will have already determined where we're going to be, or what, where home is going to be. And then depending upon where home is going to be, the closest, state. So I would say it's probably either going to be probably Arizona or into Texas. And then it's just going to matter on what the requirements are for the state and everything else, but the good news is we won't have a car. So it's not like it's, we got to get license plates on the car or anything like that, because we'll have to have a Mexican plated car.
Right.
So that part's not an issue there. It's just, I know that some of I think Texas has just started coming down that, you physically need to be there. They're not trying to emulate South Dakota as far as allowing RVers to do that. That was, I think, kicked out. So it's going to require some thought.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't investigated it that deeply yet because we know it's going to happen right around the time that we have to return the car.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And we also know that, yes, you can use Medicare in Mexico, but under certain specific circumstances. And we also know that there are medical practices, like there's one around Lake Chapala. I think Dave on here told us about it, where they offer like their own kind of insurance plan, and their plan is accepted across other cities. Not a lot, but a few. And it might be something we might want to look at too, eventually, that it's a pretty decent premium and it covers care in multiple cities. It might be something we might want to look at. Because insurance, it's almost impossible to get after a certain age in Mexico. And that's just the reality of it. It's just the reality of it. So it's another one of those, you better have some money set aside if you're going to self-insure, or maybe have one of these other plans if they're available. Medicare doesn't cover everything in Mexico. And I still think it's a reimbursement issue, isn't it?
I'm not sure how
we're not even sure because we're not there. We're not experts on that. We haven't had an opportunity to have any experience with that. I'm sure there's people on the chat tonight that may have, and they could probably set this straight. Oh. Why does this happen? Moving a mouse with my left hand. Oh, let's see. Talk to text. Okay, so I've never enacted the talk to text on my laptop. I've used it on my phone. I'm not really sure how I'm going to use it though for something like editing videos. That's what I'm mostly worried about, because that's what we do is I do all the video edits. And
well, you got a mouse in your pocket? Because we do.
Well, yeah.
That's what you do as far as the
well,
editing. I mean,
well, I've just got to get creative and figure out how I can work around that. And guys, I'm still looking for work too, and I got to figure out how I'm going to work. So, we'll see how this goes. We're making it up as we go right now. Oh, no. Blue Butterfly Travels. No, thank you for joining. No apologies necessary. I mean, I fell and I used my hand to break my fall, and it caused a extra articular or
she broke a wrist.
Arm.
Okay.
It's a horizontal fracture of my radius, close to the wrist. So that's what happened. And I got really, really good care at a private Mexican hospital. Excellent care, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is important. Kenneth, thank you for this. Safety Wing Max drops to $100K at age 65. I don't find that surprising. So the rates are going to go up and the amount that they pay is going to go down. And the max that they will pay up to is age 69. So after that, 70 and older, not sure what the deal's going to be. Still looking. Okay, so Medicare does not cover medical care in Mexico unless it is life-threatening to save. All right, so that's what I thought. I knew that there were certain stipulations. A lot of people cannot use their regular Medicare here. There are some Advantage plans that have some coverage. So, so the co-insurance that you pay extra for with your Medicare.
You mean that blow up my phone from the robocalls?
Exactly. And you need to shop around. And if we domicile in Texas, those plans will be different than the ones from South Dakota
or Arizona.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, hey there, nature lover. Thank you. You know what? Thank you, all of you. Thank you. I appreciate the well wishes. Fortunately, I'm not in a lot of pain. I'm just really inconvenienced and I'm struggling with just everyday life. Like, here's one of the biggest things. I can't freaking floss my teeth. I can't floss my teeth. So we need to go out and look for those picks. But my teeth are very tight. He had a little brush thing and I tried using it last night. I can't get it between some of my teeth. They're really tight.
Well,
So
because you have good gums. If you had gums like mine, you can just.
And if I don't floss my teeth, I won't. So just
No,
stuff
I mean,
like that.
you know, when we hit the road, and okay, you know, right now it is such a pain in the butt, and now tomorrow stuff starts going in the car. I mean, it's game on because it's going to be every basket has to be taken down by itself because those things are just too heavy to do one, you know, to do two at a time. So, you know, and if I man up and do two, well, then just.
You know, I wonder if we went to the guardhouse, if it's possible they may have a hand truck available somewhere.
I don't know.
I mean,
but it's still got to go
Yeah.
down all the stairs.
I know.
I mean, it's
I know,
just.
I know.
It's going to be what it's going to be.
I'd rather molder in the dirt than fly to the U.S. for care.
Yeah.
I hear you. Totally. So, Google voice typing for PC or Mac. Hope that helps. It does. Thank you. I'll check it out. Oh gosh, guys. So that's the story. There's 90 minutes of it. I don't know what else to say. You know, I can't stress enough how good the care was. I know a lot of people get nervous about what to expect. And you know, I think my biggest concern was going to be the language barrier because it's hard enough when you're not a native speaker to try to communicate, let alone try to do it on a medical level. You know, science, medical, anything technical is a whole other level of Spanish. And
yeah, I mean, mine's a lot better, but it's still, you know, there's words that, you know, they were throwing at me that it's just, whoa.
yeah.
Okay. You know, it's like, but, you know, between everybody there's, you know, some spoke this amount of English, some spoke very good English.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when we dealt with the nurses, it was sort of, you know, our bad Spanish, their bad English, but it all got done, you know, and some hand gestures, you know. So that's going to be what it's going to be.
You know, gosh, you know, Blue, yeah, but I didn't know anybody who was going to be able to go with us from the resort, you know, to be a translator. Like in the future, if being that this was an emergency situation, you can't really plan for these things. If I had a doctor's appointment and I knew ahead of time that I might need a translator, that's one thing. But to be going for an emergency room visit, and I mean,
but I think if we'd had a barrier, they easily could have brought the young man back from admitting because his English was very, very good. And so, you know, I think if there was a true barrier that they were unable to get across, you know, they could have brought somebody back there. But we never really hit that where
no,
it was,
we didn't.
You know.
But I am a little worried by the time we get into Chiapas, for example, that we may hit that barrier. What are the chances that the medical staff, wherever we go, are going to be fluent in English? Probably not much. I mean, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We got Translate. I got this new Fandangle phone that'll translate live conversations. So as long as we got good internet, we should be all right. You know, that is a good idea, Sylvia, about maybe hiring some guys to help move our stuff downstairs. Something else we could also inquire at the guard shack. We could tip somebody to help us move our junk. I'll bring that up with Mark. What do you think? Think we could hire somebody to help us move?
Let's proceed.
They probably ask someone at the guard shack if they got some people who want to make some extra money.
We're going to go to the concierge and see if they can, maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask them if I'm going to be able to pull the car onto the property, because right now it's on the street and it's a hike. So I'm going to try and see if we can get it closer and then go boom.
Yeah. Had to go to the dock for a few scary issues and a Mexican lab for tests. Nobody spoke English. Nope, we've been there too. Connect with Mexican friends in each spot we land for translation stuff. Yeah. Problem though is that we don't necessarily have friends each place that we land. So we're making it work though.
Well, no, and I mean, like in Playa, if Fanny had been around, we'd been great. But here it's sort of been, here we sort of just become sit, wait.
We really didn't do much in Tulum here. He's right. We just basically sat and waited this one out. The only reason we were here is to go to that festival. And that's the truth.
Otherwise, we'd have been working
somewhere
our way
else.
Western.
Google Translate does work pretty well. It absolutely does. So as long as we have phone signal, which where we are right now in Tulum, we barely have any phone signal. So,
well, there's phone signal, then there's electricity. So,
See, check this out. So you made friends in Oaxaca with people who were fluent. That is really awesome. Because I figured Oaxaca was going to be one of those places where we were unlikely to find anyone fluent.
I think it's going to depend upon who you run into. I mean,
caring. Aww. Hire some help. I'm hoping so. And thank you. Drink some tequila and cervezas. For sure. Oh gosh.
The good news is we're going to get to Merida obviously before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And we're only going to have about 6.5 hours to drive to get from Merida to Villahermosa. And other than the melted road, it's not a hard drive. The melted road part, that's a little,
rough.
So it's not like we got to get up at the crack of dawn. So yeah, have a few cervezas, have some molitas, and then sleep well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm missing something. Oh, okay.
And then fortunately the automoteles that we used in Villahermosa is actually right across the street from a Costco, which means we can run in and grab some
bacon bits.
And some tuna. Because we can get some albacore. Yep.
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, our time in Tulum is just about to come to a close.
Oh, thank God.
So I really just wanted to do this last minute live tonight because I was concerned, one, about how often I'm going to be able to put out a video at the moment because of the situation. And two, I'm still not sure what we can expect internet-wise at our next location. I don't expect that the internet will be as good as we have had lately. So I just wanted to get something out there to explain what happened, give you guys an update on what you can possibly expect. I want to try really hard to keep making videos, but I'm not really sure how fast they're going to come out. And I've been so delayed lately. Today I watched Monty Python. In fact, I fell asleep.
I know.
I threw Monty Python, the Holy Grail, on. I've seen it so many times I can recite the dialogue, and I fell asleep to it. And when I woke up, I realized that as much as I love that movie, I have never, ever, ever seen Life of Brian. So I decided tonight was the night I was going to watch Life of Brian. That's what I did today.
Okay, you guys, I see a couple of the messages over here as far as
I'm
the
getting
Merida.
there. Merida.
we're spending one night in Merida. We
Yeah.
going from Tulum
Right.
to Tuxtla Gutierrez. We're breaking it up into 3 days. So we're going from Tulum to Merida, spending the night there.
And
then we're going to Villahermosa for one night, do the auto motel that's there. And then the next day, get up and make the last little journey from Villahermosa to Tuxtla Gutierrez.
And explain why we're going north to go south.
Because you can't get there from here.
Well, the roads that are available.
There are some roads, but they're not the toll roads. And I mean,
right.
We have taken the road that goes from Tulum to Valladolid. We did that 3 years ago on that road. So we already know what that road's like. And that was a pretty easy little drive. And it's going to save us about an hour. So we're going to take, Tulum, Valladolid, pick up 180D, and then 180D back over to Merida. And that's what we're going to do for that one night. And
I'm going to take good care of my arm. Boom. We're going to be fine. I honestly am more concerned about him. I'm more concerned about him. Thank you. But I'm worried about him doing all the moving. There's a lot here, and it takes both of us to do it. I mean, we're partners in this.
Oh, yeah.
And it does take both of us, and I can't do it right now. So, You're going
to have to man up and do what I got to do.
Oh, thank you, Wilfredo. I don't know. I don't know what y'all can do. Just keep us smiling. Just stay in touch. We'll try to keep at least posting something. If
we have to set up the dish.
The dish.
The internet dish.
Yeah.
What the hell's the name of that company?
Starlink.
Starlink. It's only Coke. If we got to set the Starlink up in Tuxtla, if we're able to get to the roof, then we've done, countless lives. So we should be able to do lives at least every 2 weeks, and we can figure out a way to pound out a video
if I'm having trouble getting the videos out, we could do lives weekly.
Yeah, and it could be
potentially.
It also can be they may have to be a little bit more rudimentary than your.
Yeah, they may not be as good.
You just may have to lower those standards that you have and go, you know what, this is as good as it's going to get. And,
I have good standards.
Yeah,
that's right. Watch out now.
At the rate she could swing that, I am across the room with no problem. That's
bad. It's bad.
That's
the most uncomfortable thing is my hand keeps swelling up, especially this thumb. And I keep massaging it and everything else, but my thumb doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, and there's not much I can do with it. And I just keep doing this.
Well,
but my hand keeps swelling up.
And since Wilfredo's buying us dinner now because he took Alabama and I took Yukon.
Oh, well. Well.
And Yukon did the whole deal, so
right
back to back. But but that's what's going on, and
that's it. I think we'll call it a night. This is shorter than typical, but this was also last minute, and I just wanted you guys to know what happened. We just wanted to keep you up to date. I'm fine. I'm just really inconvenienced, and he's going to be majorly inconvenienced with this move. So that's about it.
We're going to have to do what we got to do.
I know. It sucks, though. It sucks. Yukon 1810. Ooh, chilies in Nogada. Oh, man.
That'll make her happy.
Oh, just love it there. I love that they have it year round. Oh, here we go. This is good. Lots of filtered water to drink and keep your arm elevated. It will help with the swelling. Anti-inflammatory foods too. Oh, yes. This thumb though. Oh my gosh. This thumb is so tight. Oh my gosh. I just keep squeezing it and wiggling it. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call it. Thank you so much for joining.
And
Just
thank
let
you
you-
all for all the well
Yes,
wishes.
thank
Because I mean,
you.
you guys just, it was like, oh my God,
Yeah.
and so
This is what happens when you get old.
she didn't even have a clue yet. Trust me.
Oh, well.
And some of you out there know exactly what I'm already talking about. So, she's going, oh, I'm 54. Look at this is
I'm almost 55.
Yeah.
All right. Adios, friends. Thank you so much. Thank you for the well wishes. Keep your fingers crossed that Mark doesn't have a heart attack trying to move everything this weekend.
That's why we're doing it over 3 days, because Mark's not going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
We're going to do it.
We'll do it.
Do it. Oh, that's enough for right now. We're done.
Yep. And hopefully we can get through this move without too much, I don't know, strife. Hope. All right, guys. See you next time. Love you all. Hasta la próxima.
Adios.